Salutations, my Fallout lovers. It is Matty here today with a Fallout news update. Obsidian is once again insisting that they would like to work on the Fallout franchise, and some Fallout fans out there may be scratching their heads because this really isn't news at all. Since the launch of Fallout New Vegas, Obsidian time and time again has come out of their way to say, yeah, we would like to work on the Fallout franchise one more time. And so you might be asking me, Matty, why are you covering this? Well, the reason this is important because I think it brings to light something else, which I'll get into in a little bit. First, let's look at the original news here. From an article on PC Gamer, we learned that Obsidian's designer would also like to work on Fallout. So, in a Twitter exchange between what is likely a Fallout fan and the designer at Obsidian Entertainment, he was asked any chance you could do another Fallout game, Fallout New Orleans perhaps, to which he responded, I'm always up for working on a Fallout. I think most of us generally are. Really fun property to work with. So, why is this news now, you may be asking? While this is exciting to see that the interest is still there, it's been there for a long while. So why is this news? Well, to me, this points out one thing. They are not currently working on a Fallout game. Now you may be like, well, no shit, Fallout 4 just launched. But we all know there's going to be a big gap between the next Fallout game, which would be presumably Fallout 5. It's inevitable because of the fact of how much Fallout 4 sold. Almost 20 million copies within a couple of months. You know, it's ridiculous. There's no way they're going to trash the franchise and not do another one because, well, it sold so well. It's just a simple business transaction. It makes complete sense. But with that said, there's going to be a big dry period. Would you not like to fill in that dry period like what Bethesda did with Elder Scrolls? You had Skyrim. There's a big gap now between Elder Scrolls and the next one, so they put in ESO, which didn't pan out as well, but I think it's not that bad of a game, and a lot of fans have come around to it since the launch of Tamriel Unlimited. With that said, Fallout's going to have that same dry period that needs to be filled, and a lot of people have already assumed that, well, Obsidian's obviously working on it. Well, I'm guessing they aren't because they wouldn't be expressing that interest in the game if they were already working on it. Think of it this way. If you're a designer at a studio and you know that you want to work on a Fallout game, or rather you were already working on one, why would you say that we're interested in working on one? That would just bring attention to the fact that you may be working on something which would make no sense whatsoever. What I'm basically saying is that if they were working on it, they would rather keep it a secret so that they don't feel the pressure of the community constantly asking them if they are working on it. Either way, they're obviously going to get questions about it, but what I'm saying is when the internet explodes like this with these responses, it's to grab more than anyone Bethesda's attention for a license deal of some form. But with that all said, that also means that they're probably not working on something because they would rather keep the project secret, because we all know how Fallout fans can be when you look at Fallout 4. How many of us lost our shit over the multiple leaks that ended up being true for Fallout 4 and just hammering Bethesda's social media? How many times did we see before the launch and announcement of Fallout 4, oh my gosh, just make Fallout 4. You couldn't go anywhere without seeing this game's name when it came to Bethesda. And I think the same thing could happen with Obsidian if they let things start to slip a little bit if they were working on the game. What I'm basically saying is that they're probably not working on the game. And it also might be a little weird for Bethesda to always see these in the headlines, which links me to the next article which I'm going to talk about, which is one from Kotaku, which is a fantastic read that I'll have linked down below for you guys in the description. And it's labeled, Fans' Intense Love for Fallout New Vegas Must Be Weird for the People at Bethesda. And it makes entire sense. And it's something that Lone, Noah, and I have all said on the podcast before, but it's nice to see it in a written piece where a lot of people are getting exposed to this line of thinking, because I think it might open some people's eyes on just how harsh it is to Bethesda to see that everyone is saying, well, give the license to Obsidian, when Bethesda has made so many positive changes to the franchise. The Fallout franchise is better from an open world exploration type of game, where I don't think it would have been as popular if it didn't go to Bethesda. A lot of people like to trash Bethesda for their RPG mechanics, and rightfully so, because they're not the best in the world, but to tell you the truth, the series wouldn't be as popular if it never made its way to Bethesda. So it may be a little weird for them to constantly put all this time and effort into Fallout 3 and 4 and do great things with it, but hear how they're constantly doing the wrong thing and just not handing the license off to someone who would, quote, do it better. I'm not denying that Obsidian wouldn't do it better. I think they are more designed for the Fallout game because they have the original Fallout team there. But with that said, Bethesda's made so many great changes to the game, and I'm not trying to change this news update into a discussion, but what I'm saying is that this is something we should consider with these headlines popping up, is that there are humans at Bethesda. They are not just one whole, but they are a bunch of humans with feelings, and when you're constantly telling them that their hard work is for nothing because someone else should be doing it when they are technically doing a good job, is a bit unfair in my opinion. Fallout Fallout 4 is not a fantastic role-playing game or a fantastic Fallout game in some regards, but it is a fantastic video game, which I think we can all agree we enjoy to play. And if it's a fun game, and it's a game that brings the universe we love to life, which is the Fallout universe, which I think Fallout 4 does, then I think that's fair. But anyway, I think this is an article that will tie very well into this recent headline on how Obsidian wants to work on another Fallout game. I believe that at some point Bethesda will hand off the license because that dry period will not go on for that long because there's just this big demand for Fallout now. We don't know who they're going to hand it off to. It might not be Obsidian. It might be another studio that Bethesda feels would handle it better. In my interview with Chris Avalone, he said that it might not be Obsidian. It just could be someone that is Bethesda would trust rather than someone who has already done it in the past. I think Obsidian's the best fit, and I think we can all agree on that, but I guess time will tell. But this has been your Fallout news update. I hope you guys enjoyed, learned a little bit, maybe opened your eyes a little bit with that article there. I highly recommend you give it a read. But other than that, let me know what you're thinking on this whole news in the comments down below. Other than that, be sure to follow me on Twitter, like me on Facebook. The links are also in the description. Be sure to check out sugarbomb.com, the place by Bethesda fans for Bethesda fans. Other than that, stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.